Hello and welcome to the Rest is Football question and answer episode. Thank you once again for sending your questions in. Some crackers as always. Let's start with Chris from Ireland. In terms of personal rivalries, who would each of you rate as the number one player you played against and really did not like? I don't know whether he means as a person or did not like playing against them.
Playing against them's a bit safer, isn't it? I mean, we're not about to tell people who we don't like, are we?
No. I can't remember really disliking anyone, to be honest. I always found it hard against Paul McGrath.
Ooh.
I mean, he was quick, strong, great footballer. Tough to play against Paul McGrath, both when I played against him, mostly for probably United, Villa, and Republic of Ireland as well, of course. He was tough.
He was a good player.
He was tough. I make this clear. I didn't dislike him. Yeah. I don't actually know him. The thing is, you don't really know the people you play against very often unless you've played with them internationally in the same team.
That's what it's like, though, isn't it? When you go into our business of pundits afterwards, when you've been trying to kick the shit out of each other for 20 years, and you think, I don't really like him. You don't even know him. No. You know, it's like that's the reality of it. Is like I used to think I used to never really like playing against Peter Schmeichel just because he was like a brilliant goalkeeper. Yet when you go and work with him, he's a really, really nice bloke.
Did you work with Roy Keane once, Alan?
I've worked with Roy. Yeah, I've done a couple of things with him with the BBC. Yeah.
What was that like?
It was fine. We just sort of there was no. It was totally fine. It was like it's weird, isn't it? Because you don't even know people. You just got this. You've just made up this opinion of because what someone's like on a football pitch, and you think that's what they're like. But in reality, they're not.
Well, you did have the odd skirmish with him on the pitch.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you didn't, then there'd be something wrong, wouldn't there? He was just a.
I don't know. I've never had a skirmish on the pitch.
Yeah, you would never have a fight anyway, would you? So
I'd run away. What about you, Micah? Who did you?
I mean, hardest player. I'd have to say anyone in the Manchester derby. So it'd have to be Ronaldo, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Early days when Ronaldo was playing on the wing. He was tough. Could go both ways.
Quick.
Always used to wink at you and smile at you and do all sorts of horrible stuff. But my record against Ronaldo is actually quite good, actually. So
that's why you've said it, isn't it?
I mean, I don't like to.
What a dick you are.
Right, Matt B. Who is the best team to be relegated in Premier League history? Either from a points or playing style, player's perspective. Well, if you get relegated, you generally have not played particularly brilliantly.
Hold on.
Well, obviously, for obvious reasons, Leicester a couple of years ago, they had, Maddison, Barnes, Tielemans and Didi, Dewsbury Hall, Vardy, Iheanacho, Castagna, and only managed 34 points. But,
Didn't West Ham go down with 41 or 42
42 points? 42 in 02-03.
Right.
They had Di Canio, Defoe, Carrick, Joe Cole, David James, Trevor Sinclair, Glenn Johnson.
Wow.
I'm not just remembering all that. I've got it written down here.
Oh, come on, guys.
A confession.
Give it away.
A confession.
What about Leeds? 03-04.
Oh, God, yeah. Name a few players.
I think they had Radaby, Pennant, Alan Smith,
Paul Robinson,
Milner. He would have been the only.
James Milner got relegated, yeah. He's in there.
Yeah.
Aaron Lennon, David Batty.
Yeah. Wow.
Just before you two dickheads mention it, I'll mention it. Newcastle got relegated when I was manager, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, but that wasn't a good team to get relegated, was it?
Well, I was the fourth manager in that season, so yeah. That's my excuse.
It's not really your fault, was it?
What was the points total?
Oh,
you remember?
34 or 5, was it?
4, I've got 34,
34
written down here. Yeah, right. Connor Dolan. How important is the reintegration of Sandro Tonali to the Newcastle first team for their chances of success this season? A midfield of Guimaraes, Tonali and Joe Linton is an interesting proposition. By all accounts, Tonali has the ability to be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine how tough it's been for him. So I think he's a great option for Eddie to have. He hasn't played or started him, other than in the cup game against Forest. So in the couple of the league games, he's been on the bench, but he did come on at the weekend and made a difference at half time. So whether that forces Eddie's hand to start him now, probably actually, yeah. But he's a very talented player. There's no doubt about it, and it'd be a good addition to get him back into Newcastle's squad.
He played against France for Italy, didn't he? He featured in that game.
He played both Italian games, I think he did. Yeah, and did really well. Yeah. Yeah, he did that little. He got the setup, that assist, didn't he? When the little flick over for that sensational volley. I forget who scored it, but he played his part in that. Yeah.
Yep. Next question, Stephen Bestwick. Has Big Ange's attacking philosophy worked so well for him previously because he's been in leagues with less quality? In brackets, no offence. Perhaps he played the percentages and was happy to give up a few chances, but now in the Premier League, the strikers have so much quality, you're much more likely to get punished. Can this style succeed? Well, time would tell. They did okay last season. I thought they were much improved on from where they were the season before. A change in style. They've not started brilliantly this season, although they've dominated a lot of games, but haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. So I don't know. It's an interesting question. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean the high line is one for me. You know, when teams work at it and suss that out. I mean they've been caught last season and already caught this season with conceding goals, and he's not going to change his style. That's his style. That's what he says. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do this season because they've got they brought additions in, and of course Solanke spent the right few quid on him up front. So they've had a tough time at the minute though because in forward positions they've been really poor in the 3 of their 4 games.
I think a lot will depend on if Solanke can find his feet and
Correct.
He needs to get his first goal. I mean, I've a couple of my signings when I went to Everton, I didn't score in my first 3 games. And you start to think you're getting a bit of stick and everyone's going, oh, waste of money. And then suddenly I scored 1 at Tottenham, 1-0, we won. And then I got a hat-trick and 2. Suddenly I'm 6 goals in as many games. Similar sort of thing happened at Tottenham. Took me 4 or 5 games to score, but then you started scoring. So I think it's very important that you as a striker, that you just keep getting in there, getting in there. Don't panic. Absolutely, it'll come.
It just depends, though, on the question, guys. What they're expecting. If they're expecting to challenge for Champions League, do I think Big Ange could do that?
Yep.
100%. I feel I agree with Alan's point in terms of they take a bit too many risks with a high line. But in terms of we have to give him time and judge him when he's got all the players that he wants. Remember, he coming in his first season, did very well. He's brought in a strike of 75 million, so there's pressure for Solanke. But in terms of what they want to do, I've bought into what he can give as a manager. It's just the expectation levels. I think challenging for 4th is realistic.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I love his style of play. It's great to watch, and for me, that's really important. I think football's entertainment, and they play entertaining stuff. Here's a really important question from Dan Watts. As a man with the same barber as Alan, I presume he's talking about himself. He must be a baldy.
Oh, is it Gillette? Who's the barber? Gillette.
Sponsored by Wash and Gone.
He goes on, and listening to Micah's obsession with his hairdresser, can you comment on who you think has the best haircut in football, past and present, and perhaps who had the worst? Oh, blimey. Oh.
Come on, Micah, question for you.
Chris Waddle and Glenn Hoddle with their mullets, remember those?
Yeah,
and then they had the era of the perm, you remember? Kevin Keegan, Glenn Souness had a perm, I think, at one point, didn't he?
Remember the moustache as well, Souness's big moustache. Yeah.
He'd look good in anything, though, Suey.
He looks great, doesn't he?
Yeah,
In terms of hair, Jude Bellingham's always got a fantastic trim.
Have you got the same barber? Has he got to...
No, not the same barber. He's got a different barber. I think, you know what it is? I think, you know Camavinga?
Yeah.
I think it's his brother who does Bellingham.
Oh, right. Nice.
Yeah, when he's in Spain, he's got another barber in England, HD barbers are called. But yeah, when he's in Spain.
You haven't had yours trimmed this weekend. You're looking a bit fluffy, by the way, aren't you?
I've not been on TV, have I? Who else have we got? Oh, come on, some bad trims, guys.
Colaccini, remember Colaccini?
Colaccini, yes.
Oh, God, yeah.
What a shout that was. Fellaini.
Oh, Fellaini was...
Yeah. Fellaini.
Wow. Looked about 8 foot tall when he finished that. Right. Alistair Rogers. I am always amazed by how much some players go for with regard to transfer fees. However, when managers are poached from other clubs, the compensation never seems to be as high. Why is this? And could we see managers being bought for more money? And if so, how much would you value Pep? It is interesting. I've always thought that because he's probably the most important person at a football club is the head coach, manager, whatever you want to call him. Yet, you know, clubs don't go out and buy managers. No. It's kind of not the thing. There are occasions, aren't there, where somebody's paid compensation, as they perhaps call it, for taking a manager.
Yeah, but nowhere near as much as some forward go for or whatever it is. Yeah, you often have to buy them out of their contract for a couple of million or a few million quid, but nowhere near the transfers.
Yeah, but it's value, isn't it? Players, if you get him bought at 21 and you get bought for £30 million and you have the potential to be £100 million player, then it's an investment, isn't it? So I understand it with players. I get the point about managers, but really, unless you're buying unless you Klopp, Pep, I don't know, really, who else is there? Ancelotti, maybe Zidane when he won the Champions League 3 years in a row. Normally don't know how managers are going to fit. Whereas players, if you buy them and they don't do well, you can always sell them, can't you? You know? So it's just about the value and the investment.
Pep would cost a few quid.
Just a few.
Got another edition of our very special segment, The Debut. Brought to you by Guinness to celebrate the Beautiful Pints debut as the official beer and non-alcoholic beer of the Premier League. Just happen to have one here.
Yes, love it, boys. Yes.
Crack it open.
Obviously, you idiots have never done that for a while.
No,
Can't tell you how jealous I am, boys. Tip it on the angle, guys. On the angle. That's it. That's
I've never worked in a pub.
On the angle, go right up to the heart there.
Look at that.
Top of the heart. Top of the heart.
Keep going.
Keep going. And then just let it settle there. Let it settle there, guys.
Oh, look at that.
Just leave it there for a minute or two.
All right.
Yes, Micah, I'm impressed. Just leave it there for a minute or two and then you can pour the rest in. I am jealous, lads. I actually am away in a hotel, so I haven't got any Guinness at this moment in time. But rest assured, I'll make up for it tomorrow night.
I'm sure you will. Last time out, you remember, we spoke about our own professional debuts. Today, we're taking a look at which new arrivals in the Premier League this season are making their mark. So then, who has caught your eye so far? Alan, you go first.
Arne Slot for me. I mean, I know they were beaten off Nottingham Forest, but certainly in the first 3 games, it was always, wasn't it, we said, going to be difficult to take over from Klopp. But certainly in those first 3 games, they looked very good. And if they can keep everyone fit, then I still think they'll have a really good season. So, yeah, despite that one loss, he's had a decent start.
I want to go with someone, and I'm not boasting about this, but we did a FA Cup game, didn't we, Alan? And I mentioned a young Sammy Schmodix.
Yes.
Young? He's 28.
I mean, it was young. It was young back then.
That's young compared with us.
He's young compared to you, old one. About him, he's played through the leagues, National League, League 2, League 1, Championship his way, caught my eye. But now to score a goal in the Premier League against Manchester City as well is someone who's really caught my eye. And I think he's an all-round player. I'm excited to see what he can do for the rest of the season.
Right, I'll give you mine, but I'm going to have a little sip first. Look at that. That's not bad, is it? Al?
You top it up a little bit more, boys. You need to just top it up a little bit more if you can do.
More, right to the top.
There you can get the
That's it.
Love it, lads.
There you go.
Come on.
Cheers. Cheers.
Perfect
Jealous.
pints.
I'm jealous, boys. I'm jealous.
Oh, that's good.
Whoa.
I'm going to go Fabian Hürzeler. Only 31. He was named Manager of the Month, beating the likes of Slot, Pep and Arteta were also nominated. He's the youngest ever full-time boss, as you'd expect at 31. And I like the way the team has started. He seems really confident and he's got off to a cracking start. 2 wins and 2 draws, 8 points, pretty good. So that's it for this rendition of The Debut, brought to you by Guinness, the official beer of the Premier League. 18 plus, please drink responsibly and please do not forward to anyone under the legal purchase age. For the facts, visit drinkaware.co.uk. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mark, as former athletes, now of a certain age, well, we're all of a certain age, how do you keep yourselves fit and healthy? Micah, you obviously lift a lot, and as far as I understand it, Big Al enjoys riding on a certain static bike on a certain interactive platform, beginning with a P, unless I'm randomly following some twat pretending to be you. So yeah, any tips for keeping in shape?
Just don't eat or drink as much as Micah does and you'll be all right.
What's your weekly routine, Al?
Yeah, I do like the Peloton and bike ride. Got machine speed flex. So yeah, I can't run because of my knees, my back, and my ankles. So all of my work has to be static. Yeah,
just your knees, your back, and your ankles. Is that all?
Just apart from that, I'm all right. Yeah.
Mikey, you're always working out. You're always in the gym.
Because I like to eat rubbish. I like to drink a lot at the weekend, so I have to at least try work out. But I do more like HIIT sessions.
Me
so
too.
like
Me
HIIT
too.
classes, high intensity sort of. I go to a place when I'm in Harrogate called HG3 Fitness, and we just do all sorts of different exercises. And when I come to London, I go to a place called Jab, which is a boxing sort of gym. And we do an hour session on the floor for 25 minutes and on the bags for 25, 30 minutes.
You good at boxing? You all right?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, with those guns, I wouldn't like to take a hit from you. No way. I do similar kind of to Micah in the sense that I do that high intensity training, or circuit training we used to call it back in the day.
Circuit training. Wow, that is so 80s.
Well, I am 80s. That was my time, Micah, in 80s. That's what we used to call it, So a mixture of that, but work really hard. I do 3 sessions a week with a personal trainer, mainly because if I've got an appointment, I will turn up. So if not, I might go, I'll do it tomorrow. Put it off. Ian Kirbishley in LA. As a player, were you ever on the losing side where the score was very high? And how did you and your teammates feel in the aftermath of such a big loss? I can't ever remember losing at like a 5-3. I won 5. I had a few high victories, but not defeats.
I think we were done 5-2 or 5-3 at Old Trafford once. I think I scored.
So you didn't care?
So, yeah. Actually, I can't think of too many. Yeah, 5-0 we got done in the Charity Shield off Man United. But I did my job as defenders let me down. I scored, so...
That's it. That's always you go in. Did my job.
Selfish. Honestly, you could be the worst player on the pitch. And I remember when you used to get obviously the ratings in the paper and all that. And we went to Chelsea. I've talked about it before. We got battered. And similar at Villa as well. But someone scored in the game. I looked at the player rating. They got an 8 and I got a 2. But the reason why is because the strikers are not working. You selfish strikers up front don't help them defenders.
You're just as bad. You're just as bad. You're just as bad. Just blaming us as well. Here's one. It's a good one. This for Micah. Oh. Alex D. As a lifelong Villa supporter, I have only two fond memories of Micah. One, when he spoke to Villa fans after we drew Wickham, and two, when he dressed as Santa during a Christmas advert.
Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That was the highlights of your Villa career. My question, what did he say to the supporters? I think you've done that before.
Yeah.
And what did Gabby Agbonlahor say to him, which made him fall out of his seat while dressed as Santa?
So yeah, I've addressed the Wickham. It was just going through a bad time, and I scored in that game. So I felt like one of you guys.
You selfish fucker.
I've done my job. So I come off the game last 5 or 10 minutes, and I just told the fans, we are trying. If you could calm down, it would really help us out. Yeah. And then the Christmas video, we do all them sort of activities around Christmas for content and all that sort of stuff. And I was dressed as Santa, just giving people presents. But we had so many French players at the team, so I got Gabby Agbonlahor a French dictionary. Then he just started. It's not even a funny story, but he swore in French, talking about one of the players. So all the English lads just started laughing, and everyone thinks that it was some hilarious story, but it wasn't. It was just laughing at Gabby swearing at one of the French players. That was it.
Right. The final two questions, both from foreign shores. Ni Wan Gut in Hong Kong. Out of Micah Mouse, Swearing Shearer, or Lingerie Lineker. Pardon? Oh, well, you did present Match of the Day in your pants, he goes on to add. Who would score the most goals out of 5 in a penalty shootout against Alisson today? I presume he's a Liverpool fan. God, well, it wouldn't be Micah, would he? Because he's got the worst penalty record in the history of mankind. 0 from 4.
Taken 4.
Alan and my records are fairly similar, but he's I don't know whether they mean today. Again, it depends, doesn't it, in your prime. When was the last time you actually kicked a ball properly?
Oh, years ago.
I can't. I mean, messing about with the kids in the garden when they were growing up, I think.
Yeah, years ago, yeah.
Yeah. The last question from Johnny Helminen, or Jonni Helminen. Last week, England beat Finland with those 2 Harry Kane goals. Because of that, I'd like to hear if you guys have any stories from playing against any Finns in the Premier League, or did you ever play with a Finn? Maybe players like Pukki, Hyypiä, Litmanen, Niemi, or Jaskalainen. I played against Finland once. Were you there, Alan? Because it was just before Euro 92. Were you not in that squad? It was the day John Barnes ruptured his Achilles, and it went off like a shotgun. And if you've not heard the John Barnes interview that we went out a week or so ago, I do ask you to give it a good listen, because he's great. And that game, I hit the underside of the bar that game. It bounced down on the line. So that was my memories of playing against Finland. Were you in that?
I can't remember. I must have scored, because I would have remembered.
Just before the Euros in '92.
I would have been there then if it was there, but I mustn't have played. Well, I can't remember anyway.
Yeah, we must have won then.
Obviously didn't score.
Yeah. You played against any Finns, Mike?
I don't remember. No.
Well, I'll tell you what then, this is a good place to finish.
Hey!
That's it for our question answer episode. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.